Hello students, I welcome you all to the IT class. As today we will start from our new textbook of IT, okay, which is of Gurdas Kapoor publication, and I hope you all have purchased that already from the school. So today we will start with the first unit, first chapter, which is communication methods. Okay, in this chapter we will study about the various methods of communication and what is communication and what we have to do or we don't have to do during the verbal or non-verbal communication. So first of all, let's recall what is communication. Okay, so communication means the exchange of ideas and information through speech, writing, gesture, or some other means. Communication is an essential human activity. In our daily lives, we need to communicate with others for one purpose or the other. So it is saying that communication is the exchange of ideas, means it is the exchange or sharing of your ideas, thought, or any information through any method. It could be a speech, in writing, in gesture forms, or through some other means. Okay, so communication is the means, medium, or method of exchanging or sharing your thought and ideas to the other person, that is receiver, and we can use any method to exchange these ideas and thoughts. So this process is communication, and it is an essential human activity. Essential means important human activity, and in our daily life what we need we need to communicate with others. Okay, we have to communicate everyone around us for some other purpose. They may vary from person to person, but we need to communicate with each other in our daily lives. As a teacher communicates with the students to share knowledge and information, whereas an author communicates his ideas, wisdom, views, and experience, by which means by writing a book. For whom? For the readers, who are the basically receivers of his message. Okay, so teacher will share his knowledge or information towards a student by the means of communication, whereas the author is a person who writes the book. An author communicates his ideas, thoughts, and his perceptions to his readers by writing a book. Okay, a manager of a company or business communicates policies or instruction with employees through a notice or circular. So here a notice or the circular is also the means of communication here, through which the manager is communicating with his employees. Communication plays a vital role in every sphere of human activity. Here we will learn about methods of communication. So as we studied what is communication, that it is the means or medium of sharing our ideas, information, or our thoughts to other person by using any method of communication. It could be in writing, speech, or using gesture. Okay, now we will learn what are the various methods of communication. So let's read second paragraph. Various methods of communication. Having good communication skill means being able to put our point of view in a clear, effective, and unambiguous manner. So it is saying that when you will have a good communication skill means a quality to communicate. Okay, it means that you are able to put your point of view in a clear and effective manner. Okay, so that the person to whom you are communicating, means who is the receiver of the receiver of your message, will understand your ideas, thought, or point of view clearly without any confusion. Here unambiguous means clear or without confusion. Okay, so if you have good communication skill, you will clearly convey your message to the receiver, and you will be able to convince him, or you will be able to make him understand what you are trying to say or share. Okay, it helps us not only within our organization, but also helps us build new and profitable relationship with people around us. So it is saying that this communication skill, especially good communication skill, it will not only help us within our organization, means the place where we are working or living, but also it will help us to build new and profitable means better or good relationship with the other people which are living around us. So let's learn about the three basic methods of communication that we use to express ourselves. So what are the three basic methods of communication? First is verbal, second is non-verbal, and the third is visual. So verbal means communication with the help of word. It can be in a written form or orally. So the communication which takes place with the use of verb, that is use of word, that is verbal communication. Whereas non-verbal is the opposite of verbal. It takes place not with the help of word, but it could be in a it could be a sign language, okay, any action. So that is non-verbal. And third is visual. This is the combination of both verbal and non-verbal. So what are the various methods of communication? Basic three methods are verbal, non-verbal and visual. So first heading is verbal communication. Verbal communication is a type of communication in which we pass on knowledge and information through speaking or writing. It is saying that verbal communication is that type of communication in which how do we pass our knowledge, idea or information? Through speaking or writing. Means with the use of words, it can be in oral form or in written form. As such, there are two means of verbal communication, oral and written. Let's learn about them in this section. So, there are two forms of verbal communication also, speaking or writing. So, let's learn about them. First is oral communication, in which we use spoken words. When a message or information is communicated to others by speaking or through word of mouth, it is called oral communication. You have to underline the definitions. First of all, underline the definition of communication, then verbal communication, and then oral communication. Okay. So it is saying that when a message or information is communicated or transferred by one person to another, by which means by speaking or through the word of mouth, means we use our mouth to speak now, so that communication will be in spoken form. So when communication takes place in such form, it is called oral communication with the help of our mouth. When we use oral communication, we get immediate feedback or response to our message from the listeners. So when we are talking to somebody, especially when we are gossiping, how do we gossip? By using our mouths. You will say something, your friend will reply something. So in this way, you are using your mouth to communicate, and you are also getting the feedback, the response or result of your spoken message or word immediately. So when we use this method of communication, that is oral communication, how do we get feedback? We get immediate feedback or response to our message from whom? From the listener or the receiver of the message. In an organization, managers mostly rely on oral communication to interact with the employees and pass on individual messages. So it is saying that in organizations, managers are mostly relying on which kind of communication? Oral communication, when they want to interact with the employees, as they can easily pass the message or idea to the whole number of employees, and also they will easily get the response from them. Oral communication is convenient, quick and direct. Okay, it is the benefit of the oral communication. Underline the word convenient, quick and direct. It is the benefit or characteristic of this oral communication. It allows for the immediate clearing of doubt between the speaker and listener. So it is saying that in oral communication, when two persons are talking, one is speaker and other is listener, it will immediate means on the spot clear the doubt between them. A major disadvantage, however, of oral communication is that it cannot be preserved for future reference, as no record are maintained for such a communication. So it is saying that along with the advantages, there are major disadvantages of this kind of communication also. So first of all them is that it cannot be preserved for future record. Okay, as when we are gossiping somebody, we are not recording that now, whereas when we are doing video conference or we are talking in writing form, so we have a record of that paper. okay. But when we are only using oral method to communicate, we don't have any record for the future reference. So this is oral communication, is a type of verbal communication. And now we will study the few tips for that effective oral communication, okay. So the first point is, think of what you are saying, as your words will have an impact on the listener. So while communicating orally with the other person, you have to think what you are saying, okay. Think before saying, as what you will say, they will make an impact or impression on the listener. Second point is, be calm and composed. Be mindful of your tone and mood while communicating. So when you are communicating orally, you have to be calm. Calm means shant, okay. Have patience and keep your mind in center, and also take care of your tone, pitch and mood while communicating. Third is, do not show negative body language while speaking, as this also gets conveyed, okay. So the body language is also used sometimes to express your mood or tone, okay. So while communicating orally, as the other person is able to see you physically also, so do not show your negative body language. It will make a negative impact on the listener. Next is, repeat what you are communicating if you feel there is a scope for doubt. So sometimes you will feel that the other person may not have heard you or understood you clearly. So what you have to do, you have to repeat your message, your sentence, okay, when you feel that there is a scope of doubt. Next is, be a good listener. Listen intently with undivided attention when others speak. So as you have to take care of your words, body language and all these points, also while communicating orally, you have to listen carefully to the other person, because in that communication process you may be a listener sometimes also. So at that point you have to listen also to the sender of the message, being attentive, okay. Seek clarification if you have any doubts and repeat the clarification. So in oral communication, what you have to do, you have to take clarification from the other party, that if they have heard clearly, understood you clearly, okay, to avoiding any point of doubt or confusion. Next is, do not interrupt the other person, as this will disrupt his or her train of thought. So okay, this is also a rule of communicating, that when somebody is saying something, let him or her complete their sentence, then ask your point of question. If you will interrupt that person between his speaking, then it will make a negative effect on yourself also, and also he or she may lose his train of thought, means what they were trying to say or what they were going to say, okay. So they will get confused. So do not interrupt the other person while they are speaking. Next is, be open to constructive criticism and suggestion. So it not may be possible that every time you are going to say something or suggest something, so everyone will support you, ki yes, you are saying right, yes, that it should be in this way. So you have to be prepared for the criticism also, okay. Sometimes you will get a negative response from the other person also, that they may not like your opinion, suggestion, etc. So you have to be prepared to this also. Like if you are saying something that your friend is not agreeing, that you will not start fighting why you are saying this. You have to understand why they are saying, okay. You have to listen to their point also. So these were the few tips for the effective oral communication. The next is, do you know, interpersonal skills are the skills when we use when engaged in face-to-face communication with one or more people, okay. So interpersonal skill, intrapersonal skill, or these are the communication skills. So interpersonal skill are those skills when we are talking face-to-face with the other person or with a number of person. That is interpersonal skill. Next is written communication, okay. This is also under verbal communication, as in oral communication we were using words with our mouth. So whereas in written communication we will also use words, but in writing form. So let's read. When the message or information is passed to others in the written form, then the communication is said to be written communication. Please underline this definition. This is the definition of written communication, and it is saying that when that message, information, idea or thought is passed or transferred to the other person, in which form? In written form. So that communication will be written communication. As in oral communication, you were passing your thought or idea using words in oral form, that is spoken form. So that was oral communication, whereas here you are passing your thought and idea in the written form, so it will be written communication. Written communication is very effective when we want to convey the same message to a large group of people. Examples of written communication are emails, letter, memos, circulars, newspaper, etc. So one of the major example is newspaper, as the opinion, thoughts, news, everything is written in newspaper. Okay, no one is going to call everyone individually to share the news. So at the point where your audience is large, huge, okay, so written communication will go better with that. Okay, you cannot call everyone to share the news that one accident takes place and this. So in this way, when you are addressing a large number of people, huge audience, then you will go with the written communication. Okay, these are the examples that emails in corporate sectors, various notifications, information are told to every shareholders, stakeholders, debenture holders through emails. Okay, so letters, memos, circulars, newspaper, all these are the examples of the written communication. One major advantage of written communication is that it can be preserved for future reference. Okay, this is the advantage or characteristic of the written communication. As in oral communication, we had studied now that it cannot be kept as a record for the future reference. So on the other hand, written communication can be kept as the record for the future reference. Okay, we can keep the newspaper, we can take the screenshot of the emails and keep the letters for the future reference. So this is the characteristic of the written communication. A good communicator must have good writing skills. Some things to keep in mind to this are, so these are the points that you have to keep in mind while you are communicating using this method, written communication. Okay, verbal method and in written form. So first is, keep your reader or the receiver of your communication in mind while drafting the message. So it is saying that when you are writing the message or drafting the message, you have to keep in mind who are your readers, who are your receivers. Okay, and accordingly you have to choose the language. Like if your readers or receiver of the message are the high professional people, so you have to choose the terms, words accordingly. Okay, next is, use simple and precise words. Avoid using difficult and flowery language. So it is saying that in written communication, you are not physically present there to make their doubts clear. So to make them easily understand what you are intending to say, you have to use simple, precise, easy words. And you have to avoid using difficult and flowery language. So means not technical terms. Okay, because you are addressing a huge number of audience basically in this written communication. So if you will use technical terms, some of may be able to understand and many of will not understand what is the meaning of actual that message. So you have to use simple, easy and precise word. Next is, keep the message brief. Use short, precise paragraph. Okay, so as we have the newspaper of 7 to 8 pages or maybe more also, and we will see that there are a number of messages in that newspaper. How? That you are using a specific number of line, a specific size of paragraph, okay, to the message. So you have to keep your message brief. If you are sending an email officially, so you have to choose the content what you have to include in your message, so that your message is also conveyed to the point to your receiver, and also it is not too lengthy that they may feel bored or irritated while reading that message. Okay, Next is give facts to support your viewpoint in the message. So when you write a letter or write an application to your teacher or principal, like you will not be able to come to school and why you were absent yesterday, so what you do, you write the reason also, na, why you did that and why you will do that. So you have to give the facts also, give the reason also to your viewpoints in the message. Next is add a summary of your message at the end. As when you write essay, what you do, you write a paragraph of conclusion. So in the written communication also, you have to conclude all your message at the end, so where you have to write the summary of your message. Next is give appropriate caption for graphical element wherever required. Okay, so you have to give the appropriate caption, heading, anything that which is required in the written communication. Like when you draw a picture in your art copy, what you do, you write the name of that picture below that. Okay, so this is the example actually, so you have to do the same in your written message also. Next is before sending a written message, check your grammar and spelling. Okay, so as it also make a impact or effect on the receiver of the message, so you have to be careful to your grammar and spellings. Next is reread and check if the communication aptly expresses the information you wish to convey. So as the written form of message will not show your expression, your pitch, tone, body language, everything. The receiver have to understand all what you want to say through only those written words. So what you have to do, you have to reread or your own message to check whether that is actually saying what you want to say or not. Okay, so these are some points that you have to keep in mind while communicating in written form. Okay, so now we will start non-verbal communication. Non-verbal means without words. Okay, so non-verbal communication takes place without speaking or writing any word. So it is saying that the communication which takes place without the help of word, nor in speaking and neither in writing form, so that is non-verbal communication. So how we communicate using this method without words? So through facial expression, touch, one's posture, eye contact, body language and hands gesture. So all these are some methods through which we can communicate without using words. So these are the non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication is used in situations where verbal communication is not possible or not required. So this method of communication is used at the time of either when verbal communication is not possible or that is not required. So example of such communication are thumbs up, thumbs down, winking, shrugging shoulders and other gestures that we use in our daily life as a part of non-verbal communication. So these are the example of non-verbal communication that we use in our daily life. Okay, do's and don'ts in non-verbal communication. So this is the heading regarding what you have to do and what you have to avoid during non-verbal communication. So let's read. It is said, action speaks louder than words. Therefore, between verbal and non-verbal communication, the latter speak louder. For example, if during an interview with a prospective employee, you are speaking words that depict your confidence, however, your body language portrays lack of confidence, the interviewer will pick up on the latter. He or she will think that you are being hypocritical in your communication. So it is saying that there is a proverb, action speaks louder than words, that our action will speak louder than what we are saying or writing. So therefore, between verbal and non-verbal communication, we have to take care of our body language and action also, that will speak louder than what we are saying. So there is an example given. If you are in an interview and you are giving very good speech, you have already prepared what you have to say, you are saying very good, whereas the interviewer is also looking at your body language. He is satisfied with what you are saying, but he can see clearly with your body language that you are not feeling confidence, like you are rubbing your hand, twisting your legs and shaking your body. Whether you are saying very good about what he is asking, but as you are not giving a good body language sign to him, so he will feel like you are being hypocritical and you are very nervous while communicating. So for effective communication, your verbal and body language should both convey the same thing. So you have to make the balance between verbal communication and your body language for the communication being effective. So for effective a few common body language mistakes that you must avoid are being outlined here. So following given are those some body language mistakes which you have to avoid during non-verbal communication. First point is, do not rub your hands, clasp them, fidget with them while communicating. This indicates that you are nervous. So first point is that you have to avoid rubbing your hands, clasping them or fidget with them while communicating. Clasping means to gripping both the hands together and fidget means to twisting them. Okay, you have to avoid these. जैसे हम ये हाथ बांध के खड़े होते हैं ना, so you have to avoid this while communicating, as this indicates that you are feeling nervous. Second is, do not keep your arms crossed. Instead, keep your arms open and away from your body throughout. This communicates a sense of warmth and trust. So it is saying that you have to avoid crossing your arms while talking, and you have to take care that you are keeping away your arms from your body. So it will communicate a sense of warmth and trust in the eyes of other person to whom you are talking. Third is, do not keep looking here and there while communicating. Make brief eye contact with the persons you are communicating with. This shows that you are confident. So it is saying that while communicating, you have to avoid moving your eyeballs here and there. You have to make at least brief eye contact with the person you are talking to whom you are talking, and it will show the sign of confidence in the other person. Next is, keep a good posture. This portrays a confidence attitude. So you have to also take care of your posture if you are sitting or standing. So this will show a sign of confidence attitude in the other person. A bad body posture conveys a careless attitude that may render your communication ineffective. As in an interview, you have to take care of how you are standing, how you are walking, how you are sitting. So you have to take care of that body posture, as it will show the careless attitude if you are negatively showing your body posture, and it will make your communication ineffective. Do not make annoying body movements like moving your arms and legs quickly, pacing, etc. Such actions have a negative effect on people. So it is saying you have to avoid negative or annoying body movements like moving your arms and legs quickly while talking to other person, or pacing. Pacing means also to move. Okay, so if you are sitting, do not move your legs and arms quickly. So such kinds of action will leave negative effect on the other people. Last point is, do not fidget with your hands and feet or change your position while sitting or standing. So what you have to do not play or do not twist your hands and feet while talking or sitting, and do not change your body position frequently, as sit firmly and be aware of yourself and make calculated moves. So this will convey the confidence in the other person to whom you are talking. So these were the points which you have to take care while communicating through this method of communication, that is non-verbal communication. Okay, so next point is visual communication. As we studied 3 methods of communication: verbal, non-verbal, and this is visual communication. Visual communication refers to communication through pictorial or visual representation of information. In visual communication, information in the form of visual element that can be seen and read by the receiver. So the visual communication is a form of communication in which you will communicate through pictorial or visual form of the information. So where you can see the information also, read that also. The example of this is television. The proverb, a picture is worth 1,000 words, underline the power of visual communication. So there is a proverb that the picture is worth 1,000 words. So this shows the power of the visual communication. Often visual communication is more powerful than verbal and non-verbal form of communication. Signboards, maps, pictures, displays, chart, graphs, television programs, hoarding, banners, etc. are a few examples of visual communication. So it is saying that through visual communication, you will communicate more effectively to the person, as it is more powerful than the verbal and non-verbal form of communication. Some examples of visual communications are signboards, maps, pictures, displays, charts, graphs, television programs, hoarding, banners, etc. Okay, so in this way we have completed this chapter.